Hey, what's up? It's Todd. And today's question is probably one of the most common things I've been asked over my 2 decade career as a dating coach. And it's this: should I even bother to learn game if I have other major things holding me back? I currently live at home with my parents and could probably lose 20 pounds and get my finances handled. Should I do that first? And this actually is a question that on its surface seems to make a lot of sense because typically when we talk about improving at something in life, you want to be focused on that one thing, you want to be honed in, and so trying to focus on a few different things at once is problematic in a lot of cases. So this is, I think, a well-intentioned question. It's also, I think, a question that a lot of people ask when they're kind of making excuses, when they kind of know they should learn game, but these other things would be more comfortable to work on, would involve less social risk, and so they can kind of make the excuse of, can I work on this one thing first and then this other thing, and especially if it's an excuse, the answer is no. Right? If it's can I delay the pain or delay the anxiety or fear of learning game by trying to focus on these other things first? If that's the motivation, the answer is a very firm and resounding no, that's not a good idea, because in that's a case where later probably equals never, right? You're going to keep putting it off and keep putting it off. And in most areas of life, if you are motivated to handle something right now, you should take at least some step in that direction, because we're not robots, we're human beings, and there is an emotional component to learning. There is the fact that when you are driven or motivated, or when you maybe have a pain that's driving you towards something, whatever, then that is a moment when taking action is going to be powerful and is going to help you with building those right habits. So when you have leverage on yourself, you want to do something. So that is absolutely the case. And for that reason alone, I would say you want to start learning as soon as you possibly can. However, even from a sort of logical planning kind of a phase, there is a lot of benefit to learning game right when you can. Now, I do want to say, if your problems in other areas are absolutely extreme, maybe you should work on them to an extent first in some cases. So, for example, if your problem financially is so bad that you're begging on the street and you don't know where your next meal is coming from, then maybe you should work on that before you work on your game. That said, weirdly enough, if you're begging on the street, learning game could be the best thing for you, because learning some more social skills might help your begging income and might also, get you out of your problem, right? So, to be fair, even then, maybe I would recommend it. In fact, I even heard a story. I don't even know if it's true, but I heard a story of some dude in New York who was homeless, but he was living based on just like flirting with girls and meeting girls and getting taken in and having them feed him and stuff like that. So I mean, I guess even in that case, like, a learning game could be useful. And that really gets at the point of what I want to say here, though, which is that there are certain skills in life that are very synergistic. There's certain skills in life that help you with other skills. So for example, like academically, skills like English and math are synergistic skills. If you're better at English, you're going to be better at all the social sciences, because you're going to have to read a lot, and being better at reading, being better at comprehension, those kind of things is going to help you there. If you're better at math, that's going to help you with all the sort of like physical sciences, right? Because knowing math, knowing statistics, knowing calculus, algebra, all those kind of things are going to make those things make more sense to you. So it's sort of a meta skill. It's a skill that helps you with other skills. And that's actually the major reason why I think that you should not delay learning game. One is obviously that emotional one, because let's face it, learning game is one of the areas that people make more excuses than any other in life. But the other one is, it is a meta skill. So learning game is going to help you financially. They've done actually research with particularly like engineers and people in technical fields, and they took people that were very driven and dedicated and very like straight edged and didn't drink and didn't party, and they took people who did go out and party and drink a little bit, and actually the people who partied and drank did better in their careers than the workaholics who didn't. And the reason, especially among engineers, is that the technical knowledge base is kind of there at a certain level of engineering, but your ability to sell your ideas, your ability to network, your ability to get, recognition for your ideas is a huge part of you moving up in engineering. It's also a huge part of why certain engineers are able to like be entrepreneurial and build businesses with their engineering skills. So again, it's the synergistic skill that's going to help you in other areas, particularly the financial area. In terms of the health area, that's a little bit different, because obviously learning game is not going to make you lose weight directly, but it is actually a huge motivator. It is a huge incentive and it's a huge reason for losing the weight. So if you are starting to meet girls and you're starting to get some dates and get some success, or you're just putting yourself out there more and more often, you're going to have more reason when you're in the gym. I'm doing this to look good for my date. I'm doing this to look good on my online dating profile. I'm doing this for this reason. And motivation and consistency is a huge part of like kind of weight loss or getting in shape or, building muscle, whatever your goal is. And so for that reason, it's a meta skill in that way. And also the idea that you have to like get in shape before learning game is kind of a false dichotomy, because you can start getting results in game even as you are getting into shape. And in fact, in some ways that's better, because for your mentality and your inner game, if you get this idea that you only got good at game or you only started getting results with girls because you got physically fit, you're going to attribute all your results to fitness. Whereas if you sort of learned game and got some results on the way and then had those results skyrocket and get even better as you got better looking and more physically fit, now you're going to have a much more realistic kind of view of your self-worth, self-esteem, and value towards women. And so that's actually a much healthier way to go as well. So in terms of should you handle these other things first before learning game, in an extreme case, maybe. Like if it's literally a matter of survival, maybe, right? If you're like this close to having like a heart attack and you're still in the hospital getting over it, maybe focus on, your health before game. Although, if you're sitting around with time to kill in the hospital, what else are you going to do, right? So even there, I can make that stretch. But yeah, again, if it's extreme, if it's really a serious matter of life and death kind of thing, or if it's really keeping you at a really meager level, okay, work on that first. But for most of us who are doing sort of okay at life, we're getting by, most of the time, this should I get better at something else before learning game, it is an excuse. And secondly, learning game is a huge meta skill. I know it was for me. One of the biggest drivers for me towards success and self-improvement in every area of life was when I started seeing girls and I wanted to be more like that high-value guy that I was conveying and doing game. And I wanted to have those skills to be able to keep girls around. And I wanted to have the income to be able to go on dates and have a lifestyle and do fun things with girls, as opposed to having to pinch every penny. So in my mind and in my view and what I've seen work for me, my coaches, my clients, etc., for years and years, game really is a meta skill. It's like in academics, it's like English and math, where it's going to transfer over to so many other skills. It's really hard to justify taking the time not to learn it, because it's going to help you with those other things you want to do as well. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that answer. I hope you found it informative. I hope it gets you off your ass and gets you to like not make excuses. And sometimes, obviously, if you're in a lockdown or quarantine, getting off your ass doesn't mean literally going out, but getting off your ass can mean reading, studying, practicing exercises, getting your online profile together, whatever it means. So hopefully it gives you some motivation. And if you enjoyed it, that question did come from what I get asked from people on a regular basis. So if you want to get your question answered, feel free to ask it in the comments below as well. Till next time, take care. See you soon.